All right, it's good to see all of you as we gather on this first Tuesday of the month, which we do on most first Tuesday of the month for a session here for the ICF Orange County chapter. And today we're really excited to bring back again Mary Cravets, who was with us back, I think we said 2020, I think it was, Mary, and it was good to see her. Yeah, I think it was during that COVID year. It may have been 2021, but I'm thinking it was 2020. This was kind of a recent addition to our calendar because we had to reschedule some things, and Mary was very kind in scheduling this with us, and we have a really good registration for today for this important topic. And so just want to make sure that you're all there and you can hear all of us. If you have any issues, please let us know. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce Mary, and then I'll turn over to her. And we're going to have, I know, an exciting, engaging conversation from the vast knowledge and experience that Mary presents today. So Mary Cravets is an award-winning client generation expert and international speaker who helps people grow their businesses without working nights and weekends. She's heard all the confusing and conflicting advice out there. So she isn't surprised that most business owners struggle to establish a sustainable business. But she's here to change that. Using her methods, the majority of Mary's clients quickly increase their income 50% or more. Clients range from the former CFO of Microsoft North America to coaches in their first few years of business, to thought leaders in a variety of service professions. Mary is also a huge fan of roller coasters, something I share with you, by the way, Mary. She's obsessed with otters and proud mom to her cat, Inigo Montoya. So maybe some of you know that reference to that film that comes from. So it's my pleasure to introduce to all of you, Mary Cravets.
Thank you, Daryl. And I am going to use our time wisely by jumping right in. I'm going to ask you a question and just show of hands. And that is, do you ever feel like this? Show of hands, if you can relate. My brain has too many tabs open. Thank you. Active listening, nodding. Thank you. Because there's so much to be done. You know you're good. How do you take in all of the stuff that's happening, all the responsibilities? Well, the good news is, you smart, talented, hearts in the right place people, is that this today is not about doing more and more and more. Instead, we are going to be focusing on how to maximize what's already working in your business. So our topic today is more clients, less marketing, how to create more leads and income by doing less. And this is the perfect place for you to be if you are a newer business owner and you are always kind of wondering, where's that next client coming from and what can I do to make that happen? Or if you are a newer business or a more experienced business owner and you just really want to streamline your client generation efforts, what's not taking as much of your time. So today, here's what I'm going to cover. Number one, you're going to learn a simple mindset tool that melts your resistance to implementing marketing. Not that anyone in the room has any resistance, but just in case you know someone who has them, you're going to be able to give them a really good tip. Number two, we're going to create a customized lead generation strategy that will allow you to stop wasting time and money on things that simply don't work. And number three, we're going to go over the 6 essential elements of an effective client generation plan. It makes it easier to attract clients, grow your income, and make a bigger impact in the world. Regarding questions, I am going to give us some time about halfway through so that after we go through the first 2 teaching points, you'll have some time for some Q&A. And then I won't be answering questions in between so that all of the learning stays very congruent and I'm tying all of the pieces together for learning. And all right, so I'm going to ask you, I'm going to put you on stage now in the chat. So open up the chat box if you would. I have a question for you. Open up the chat, put your fingers on the keyboard, and I have a simple question. Just don't overthink it. First 10 words that pop into your mind. Why is this topic important to you? Why is this topic important to you? You probably have about 17 other places you could be right now, but you showed up here. So why is this important to you? More clients and income. I'm a newer coach. I want to create a successful business. Leads and acquisition is how you grow a business. Interested in the topic. Spinning my wheels, trying to get clients. My business becomes a business and not just a hobby. Yes, I currently feel stuck in starting my practice. Creating a vibrant business. Ooh, I like that. More clients, less income. Or no, sorry. For more clients, more income. I've been doing this topic for a long time, so I'm kind of hardwired for more clients, less marketing. All right, fantastic. You're all in the right place. Want to do less and get clients. Couple more. I have 100% referral business for 36 years. I'm pivoting to something new and curious how I might do things differently. Okay, Karen, spoiler alert, you're probably not going to do things terribly differently. Just need like a reintroduction plan. Anyway, I don't know what the details are of your business, but the third teaching point is going to be helpful because remind me to tell you the story of it. Remind me to tell you the story. You're allowed to break in on teaching point 3. Say, Mary, tell me the pandemic story about your pivot. Okay, I want to share that for you. Okay. Last few, I want to be able to create and sustain my business. Okay, perfect, great. And usually I take down the screen share at this point, but because I'm not in my usual office, I'm just going to leave it where it is and just tell you a little bit of the background. So personally, this isn't my best quality, but I am a bit of a skeptic. When I listen to speakers, I'm like, yeah, more clients, less marketing. Sure, if you buy my $10 million program. So I always feel like people are sitting there, and I want to reassure you that this is not something I read in a book yesterday. This is not theory. This is from my own in the trenches experience. I have a successful training and coaching company, in business for 12 years, on track for the $500,000 mark in the next couple of years. But like probably most of you, when I started out, looked nothing like this. I was just incredibly excited because I just ditched my income creating business that was no fun. It was killing my soul. And I ditched it. I started this business. And I'm like, yay, I'm contributing to the prosperity of others. I'm going to help people. But I was undercharging, undervaluing. I just wanted to help people. It's probably no surprise that within a couple of years, I completely burned out. And so here I am, not a lot of energy to engage in my business. And thoughts are running through my head like, who do you think you are to advise people on their business when you can't even do it? Huge imposter syndrome. Luckily, a stronger voice came through. And this is the first thing I'm going to recommend you write down. The stronger voice came through and it said, what's working, Mary? What's working? Because I no longer had time or energy to chase down whatever social media was doing with algorithms this week. I didn't have time or energy to figure out the latest, greatest marketing trend and start over again. I needed to take what was working, dig deeper so I could leverage it and have that consistent, steady stream of clients coming in, knowing that my efforts were going to pay off. And over time, it's that one question, it's actually my business grew as I recovered my health. And over time, it developed into this bigger client generation system. I'm going to show you right now. Maybe I'm going to show you right now. There we go. It developed into this bigger system. This is the reason my clients do so well, and this is what everything I teach you today is based on. So let's jump right into some of these concepts. So the first thing is to learn a simple mindset tool that melts your resistance to implementing marketing. So the fact is that no matter how wonderful everything you learn here is today, no matter how many aha moments and light bulbs go off, if you have resistance to marketing and client generation, you have reluctance to put yourself out there, then nothing I'm going to teach is going to help. You're going to snap back to doing what you've always done. You may have already had this experience. So we've got to look at mindset first. So the thing we're going to do is look at a very simple, single question, gently, but persistently shifts your mindset. And here it is. Am I willing for this to be easy? Am I willing for this to be easy? It's literally posted on my laptop. I see it all the time. And the reason this works is because your mind wants to say yes to you. It wants to say yes to you. So if you're like, oh my gosh, marketing is so pushy and it's all about me and it's all about pushing and I hate it and everyone's going to think I'm a jerk, your mind is going to serve up all kind of evidence to prove you right. It's going to be very, very difficult to move the needle in your business. Using this simple question, almost like a mantra, am I willing for this to be easy? Willing for this to be easy. If you use this, you will find your resistance melting and your mind serving up solutions, direction, clarity, move forward with a lot more ease and focus. And the thing is, this isn't just like, oh, that's a nice idea. Maybe I'll jot that down. This is something that produces bottom line results. And this is one of my favorite stories about this. This is Candace, and regardless of the mugshot photo, she actually is quite a lovely person. She was a business owner, and when I crossed paths with her, she was busy, undercharging, feeling guilty when she was with her kids, that she should be working, and guilty when she was working, thinking she should be with her kids. And before we could jump into scaling strategies like hiring and pricing structure and things like that, we had to address her mindset. She was convinced that business had to be hard. It had to be sacrifice. And while yes, boy, oh boy, you got to work at this, it doesn't have to kill you. Otherwise, don't do it. I wouldn't do it. So for Candace, starting with that one question and then building a strategy from there, she doubled her business a couple of years in a row, more time off than ever. And every year, her life has served up crazy new circumstances. And she's been able to, with clarity and a lot of perspective, be able to choose how she wants her business to serve her. So let's start building some of that strategy for you. Next, we're going to create a customized lead generation strategy that will allow you to stop wasting time and money on things that don't work. The world we live in is kind of an amazing place. There are so many ways to grow your business. There's so many ways to get the word out. The question is, how do you cut through all of the noise, all of the confusion, all of the conflicting expert opinions, find your fastest path through? Well, that's what we're going to do next. And just to show you where we are in the bigger picture, this is where we're going to start creating your custom formula. So the first step in creating your custom formula is we have got to stop the overwhelm. You're probably very clear that any activity you do on your business takes your energy. Clear? Yes? Yes. What you may not consider is all of the energy, the useless energy that is bleeding away from all of the things you're considering doing. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do that. I could do this. Somebody said do that. That is stealing your energy, and that's where we have to start. So on your handout, if you have your handout, great. On your handout, there's a little grid. You're going to start filling in on the left-hand column what I show you in a minute. If you don't have the handout, don't worry. Take out a piece of paper, draw a line top to bottom so you have a left and right column. In that first column, you're going to list all of the marketing activities that you do consistently, all of the things you do inconsistently, everything you think you should be doing, everything you're curious about trying, everything you judge yourself about, everything that, oh, your cohort is saying, you know what we should all try is this. Everything, 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 everything. This is about quantity, not quality. We'll zero in on quality in a minute, and I'm going to give you 1 minute to brainstorm starting now. Got about 30 seconds left. 3, 2, 1, pencils down. Now this may be what your list looks like, kind of a million different things. It's all over the place. Quick clarification, this is not the answer key. This is not like the correct answer. This is just an example of brainstorm I did many years ago. Really overwhelming. Step 2 is we've got to identify what works for you. So in the second column, what you're going to do is you're going to list the names of 5 fantastic paying clients. Now you'll notice the smiley face in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. That is to remind you that you are not to include any PETA clients, any of those pain in the ass clients who give you a stomach ache and that frown line between your eyes. And include them because everything we do here is going to show you how to multiply whatever you put in that second column. So 5 clients, best clients, if you could multiply them, you would have the perfect business. Then the question is, how do you create a bridge between these fantastic clients and the effort you put into your business? Well, really draw a line from the name of the client over to the strategy or activity that brought them to your door. What you will generally find is that there is a concentration. There's a concentration of efforts, and this creates the foundation for your client generation plan, your custom formula, your client generation or your lead generation strategy. That will usually consist of just a handful of activities instead of doing everything, which you can't do anyway, and dialing in exactly how much you're going to engage in it, what are the activities behind it, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So I'm going to stop for questions at this point and find out what you discovered. So what did you discover from this exercise? Where's your business coming from? And you're welcome to unmute yourself because we can actually have a conversation. Yeah, Karen.
I'll go.
Yeah.
So my business, even though I'm pivoting to something new, which is speaking, which I have not done before last year, it's still coming from referral is what I'm noticing, that my even the speaking business is coming from my happy clients that I like who have referred me to do the speaking. So that's something that I noticed.
Yeah. Yeah, and I will give away the answer. Thank you for jumping in. The answer for coaches, the top 2 ways that coaches get clients worldwide. Referrals is number 1. It's referrals and relationships and the activities that support getting more referrals, and speaking, number 2. Now that does not mean those are the only channels. Those are the ones that's what has a proven track record. All right, so Karen, I guess the question is, does this take anything off your list?
I don't have very many on the list. I only have 8 things that I do consistently. So
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that's interesting. I think that it's probably doing similar things, just applying it in a different way. That's what I'm kind of coming up with.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I was going to say earlier. So you covered it. Yay.
Thank you for the inspiration. Thanks.
You're welcome. What else? And by the way, if this didn't work perfectly for you, that's okay. Ask me a question. I can help. That's what I'm here for. I don't have to be 100% right. Let's see. Chris said being out and talking to people about what I do. Yeah. That is all their referrals and relationships. So what else?
I haven't started my own coaching business yet, but in my corporate job, I'm in vice president of business development. So I kind of applied the same thing. All of my clients come from networking events and like lists of attendees that are attending those events that I know are interested. And the referrals for sure. and incoming leads, I've been able to close those down. So like just looking at my current baseline, that has been successful.
Absolutely. It's great to be able to apply past success. And one thing, so I'm actually going to put something in your hands and I'll give it to everybody, but the way that a corporation operates and the way a solo business operates, I mean, I think it's like, well, obviously they don't run the same way, but they run so unintuitively, wildly differently that you can feel like an absolute crazy person trying to grow a business. And it's like, well, this is just a small business and I was successful in this huge company. And you can just feel crazy. I've worked with so many people, my clients have come from marketing backgrounds and they're like, I feel crazy because I should be able to do this, right? And like, it doesn't work the same. So while I hear for you, there's a much more direct connection to how to do this. If you start to feel crazy, you are in good company because there are nuances that are completely different from corporate. Here's what I have, something that can help connect the dots for you and for anybody else who wants it. I have a course called Referral Generation Made Simple. It's a classic. We're going to call it a classic because it's audio only, not old. It's audio only. It walks through how to develop centers of influence, how to ask people for referrals without feeling awkward, and how to like break down the steps, the action. Because I mean, it's nice to know that referrals is how you get clients, but it's like, okay, Monday morning at 9 o'clock, what do I do about it? So this course, and I'm going to give this as a gift to you, so I'll tell you how to get that too in a minute. But that will help. I want you to not only know what to do, but how to do it very specifically, very actionably. So thank you for piping up. I don't know, so someone could ask another question and I might give something else away. So what other questions or what did you notice that is helpful? Molly.
So as a newer coach, my client list is like this big.
Okay, right.
So that's where I struggle is like, I don't have enough clients to be able to find a pattern yet.
Right. Okay. Thank you for saying that, because normally I am much better and remember to accommodate your situation. So you are not the only person. So thank you for speaking up. So here's how you do your evaluation. Same brainstorm, same brain dump. And then you evaluate along three different criteria. 3 criteria are like, what do you like to do? What do you know how to do? That's number 2. What do you know how to do? And what has a track record of results in your industry? So the easy evaluation is you go through the list once and go, okay, I'm going to put a check mark next to everything that I like to do. Things that you like to do, you will have less resistance, so you will actually do them. Things that you know how to do, again, you go through one more time. Everything you know how to do right now, check it off the list. And then anything that has a track record of results, either you personally or your industry or someone who is actually succeeding, and be very careful about who you interpret is succeeding at what you want to do. And I tell you what, when I started my business, people were like, Mary, you just do not know if people are successful or not. And I'm like, don't be ridiculous. Look at them. They're driving a great car or they're talking a good game. And my former business was virtual assistants. And so I got to see behind the curtain of everyone's business. And it was absolutely shocking. I don't like to use words like shocking because it sounds like a tabloid, but it was shocking. So when you look at who is being successful and what they're doing, be skeptical, ask questions. My favorite conversations when someone's considering working with me, it's like, Mary, can you tell me how much money you've made over the past 10 years? I'm like, absolutely. I will pull out my spreadsheets right now. And I'm glad you're asking, because I don't want anyone to follow someone who isn't doing what they want to do, isn't accomplishing what they want to accomplish. So anyway, off the soapbox and back to the evaluation. So the items that have 3 check marks, the know, like, and the results, it's your starting point. For anyone who doesn't have a track record, that's your starting point. And guess what? This is always owning a business, running a business, it's always a matter of doing, tracking, refining, doing, tracking, refining. And very rarely is nail down the perfect system that you're going to use until you close the doors on your business. Markets change, you change, your skills change, your ideal client changes. So there's always some adjustment. All right. Other questions or comments? Wait, I saw something in the chat. Okay, Molly was just saying thank you. Great. And someone asked earlier where I got married. It was Rios Level Winery. Sorry, that's just like total tangential random, but. What else? Or something, so what I'd love to hear is just one person that says, okay, here is one thing I'm going to start doing or stop doing, because I'll let you learn. Start doing or stop doing. And then we'll move on.
Hi.
Hi, Penny.
Hi. I have a question. I'm at the beginning of this business. I'm just leaving a 40+ year career in a completely different industry. So I'm just starting. And what is really the value of a Facebook page, a website, an Instagram page?
This is, thank you. Oh my gosh, you see, I never have to teach everything because people always ask the right questions for all the things I want to talk about anyway. So thank you, Penny. All right, social media. In general, the role that social media plays in a coaching business is for credibility and visibility, which means someone will be referred to you if they go out onto the wild world web, whatever. You need to see things that say, Penny's who she says she is. Penny is reliable. Penny looks the same on all of her channels. So I don't care if you're on all channels or no channels. Actually, I do care if you're on no channels. You got to be on LinkedIn pretty much across the board, 95% of the time. It has to match. It has to agree. And you have to be consistent. Now, my guess is that people will not be hiring you based on your Instagram star status and how many followers you have. But what they will do, I mean, I've gone to people's websites and their last blog is 2014, and I start to go, you know, are they even paying attention? Whatever you do, it's better to do less, but be more consistent with it. Websites can be very simple. And there's one more like bigger picture clarification is that when we talk about marketing, I don't like even talking about marketing because this isn't really marketing and people get very confused. But if you look at like the big picture of marketing in a solo business, I think of two areas, like you've got two buckets. One is visibility and credibility, and one is lead generation. Visibility and credibility, things like websites, social media, they're things that are out there. They are dependent on people stumbling across you. They're dependent, doing any business there is dependent on your ideal client stumbling across you. Lead generation is about throwing yourself in your ideal client's path. That's the speaking, the referrals, the networking. And in a coach's business, so the mistake that a lot of people make is they are doing the visibility and credibility and thinking it is lead generation, and they're pouring all their work into here and going, why am I not getting clients? Because you're giving it the wrong job. Lead generation, where you pour your efforts into. Is that helpful? And by the way, Angela, knowing your background is super like it's super gratifying that you're like nodding like yes, oh yes, yes. Thank you. Mine's more of an in the trenches variety of experience than corporate, but I think so. Penny, what does that do for your understanding?
Yes, I mean a lot of food for thought on this because social media has such an important is an important tool, you know, in so many ways, but it can also be a very destructive tool, and also
Yeah,
bring
distracting.
people that are undesirable, you know, to you.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, particularly in this field, I think it's important to know how to handle it and so on. So,
Yeah.
so
And-
maybe less is more, and sticking to, you know, relationships, referrals, and so on.
Yeah.
Which clearly, you know, worked very well. I forget who it was who mentioned this before, but for so many years, Karen, Karen Gifford, yeah. So,
Perfect.
so
And
yes,
one
very helpful. Thank you.
Okay, good. And I'm going to add one more layer to this, which I swear I've been doing this for 12 years, and I swear it was like today I figured out how to express something. So website, social media, those are tactics. Those are things that you do in order to implement a strategy. And hold on, I have to find, so I have a Sun Tzu quote, it's fabulous. Okay, he said, strategy without tactics is the slowest route to victory. So if you're planning to plan and rearranging deck chairs and doing slowest route to victory, tactics without strategy is the noise before defeat. And that tactical piece is generally when coaches start their business, there's this experiment phase. And they are tactic, no unifying strategy. And that experiment phase lasts until they hit a wall and they go, what the heck am I doing? Or it lasts until they say, I am done. So the experiment phase basically lasts as long as you want it to last, or until you're like at that make or break, hit the wall decision time. When you're talking about implementing a tactic like getting a website, like getting out into social media, having your underlying strategy solid, which is what we're going to talk about next, I'm not going to leave you hanging. Having that underlying strategy is the difference between having these tactics work and them being a big waste of time and you having to redo them in 6 months, a year, 18 months, and so on. But before I go to that third teaching point, by the way, it's like the best questions ever because you get to get all of this deeper, like cutting deeper. So thank you. But before I go on to last teaching point, I'm going to get that referral generation made simple course in your hands. And I'm also going to give you access in case you want to do more speaking. I have a course, same kind of thing, templates, checklists, very tactical, your speaking calendar. If you want to be doing speaking gigs, I've booked hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of gigs, and it's going to show you all of my methods. So if you want those, all you have to do is send me an email. We're going old school. I recommend you do it now. One of my themes for the year is do your homework in class. Your homework in class. So that's what I'm talking about here. Send me an email to mary@simplygetclients.com with the subject line smile. I'm going to give you a minute to do it now so that we don't lose track. All right, so I'm going to put it in the chat, mary@simplygetclients.com, subject line smile. I know more referrals and speaking will make you smile, and I have the world's most cheerful inbox. Well, I think I'm funny. Thumbs up. Good, send that email. And I got a question into the chat, and I'll give you an opportunity to get on my calendar a little bit later, so I'll take care of that. All right. I'm gonna go back to presentation. You know, I heard from a expert speaker coach, you know, platform skills, how to present yourself. They say, you know what, if you're a really good speaker, you don't talk through your technology transitions. And I'm like, well, dare to dream. Someday I'll get there. All right, so let's talk about the 6 essential elements of an effective client generation plan. Now, this is the strategy I was talking about, that bigger picture strategy. And I remembered, Karen, I'm remembering to tell the story. So I'm going to give us the visual here of this, simplify it. So imagine, if you will, it's March 14th, 2020, and I am quite convinced that my 10-year-old business is going to implode and go away because of the pandemic. I was an early adopter of the pandemic, obviously. So I'm quite certain it's going to go away. And I start thinking down the lines of reinvention. Reinvention brings you back to the beginning of your timeline and you start over. This is a bad, bad idea, and I know better. I'm going down the rabbit hole of, I'm going to have to reinvent, I'm going to have to do all these things. And finally I say, you know what? Wait, I know this. I'm going to go back to my client generation strategy, which is what you're looking at on the screen right now. So I took out my client generation plan. I said, okay, what needs to change and what will stay the same? My values and vision stay the same. Pricing and packaging might need to make an adjustment. Ideal client, same. Messaging, adjustment. Lead generation, adjustment. Sales and enrollment, same. But what I was able to do very quickly is to identify where to make adjustments to a proven plan rather than overhauling and reinventing and starting over, which is what I see a lot of people do when things aren't working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to equip you with this assessment. I'm going to show you how to use it. You're going to do it today, homework in class, and then you're going to be clear about what needs adjustment. Because what I know is that you probably have some of these things dialed in. Other things probably need your attention as you're going and going and going and doing. It's sometimes hard to know which is which, what's going well and what needs your attention. So I'm going to define. I'm going to go over each of these 6 essential elements. You will assess how well they are defined in your business on a scale of 1 to 10. Let me explain my scale. 10 is the ideal situation. It's the goal. That's where you have this element working at peak efficiency, peak effectiveness. It's allowing you to work less and get better results. That's a 10. The 1 is, wow, Mary, this is basically the first time I've ever considered looking at this at all. Okay? So let's start. Let's start on the left with values and vision. So your values and vision, when you are in alignment with your values and vision, you create a sense of conviction. This gets you through the tough days where you're like, why am I doing this? It's just part of the package you get with business ownership. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how clear are you about your values, your personal core values, and your vision? Quick side note, don't put this in the chat. I'm going to have no idea what it means. This is for you only. Jot it down. Next, pricing and packaging. Is your pricing honoring your value? Is it aligned with your financial goals? Do you have your programs, your services packaged to serve your clients at the highest level? On a scale of 1 to 10, are you clear and confident that your pricing is where it needs to be and your packaging is clear? Next is ideal client. Now, just a pro tip here on describing your ideal client. Ideal client description never starts with the words, I'd be willing to work with. Okay, that is, I mean, yes, you're willing to work with whoever, but don't build your business around settling. So get clear about who is ideal, who can you serve at the highest level, and who will pay you at the highest level, and commit to that. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how clear are you about your ideal client and where to find those ideal clients who can afford your services? Scale of 1 to 10. The next element is magnetic messaging. Messaging magnet is magnetic when it quickly and accurately articulates the value of your service in a way that makes people go, wow, Karen, I need that. So the trick is understanding how to communicate the value from your ideal client's perspective. And I have to tell you, this is that turning point in people's businesses. When you can articulate this, when I'm working with my clients on their client generation plan, we get to this piece and we nail it down. This is where like the clouds part and the sun shines, and it's like magic. And another thing is, if you've ever seen someone out there in the world and they kind of do what you do, but they don't have the experience, or they don't have the expertise, or God forbid, they don't have the ethics that you do, they're getting all the clients. This is it. You usually have better messaging. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your messaging? Now, lead generation is, we started that today with the exercise you did today. What it evolves into, if you can imagine, is a checklist of activities where every month, you know, I do these things. There are things I don't hate to do. I get to engage with people in a way I like in my lead generation. The best possible scenario is your lead generation activities align with your values. So like, I work with a lot of speakers because we all have the value of impact. So to have a lead generation strategy that aligns with your value of impact, and then be able to do it with actual lead generation and not just, hey, people love me. That's a great lead generation strategy. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how clear and confident are you about the activities you need to do to bring in leads consistently month after month? Then last is sales and enrollment. Once you have someone who says, yes, I'd like to learn more, how confident are you and comfortable are you with that sales conversation? Talking about money, asking to be paid what you're worth, or if you work with corporations, getting your proposal through the layers of decision makers. On a scale of 1 to 10, rate your ability to close the sale once someone says they are interested. Okay, now before we talk about how to get this all into action and what to do with this, I want to take a moment and let your brain, your left brain logical side that I've really been working out today, I want to give that a break. I want you to put your pen down for a second, take a minute. I want you to look up at the screen. And I want you to imagine that each of these items has a 10 floating above it, just 10, 10, 10, all the way across the board. Each element working at peak efficiency and effectiveness. Now I want you to imagine that is your business. Working less, achieving more, earning more, making a bigger impact. If you had 10s across the board, I want you to reflect on this and I want to hear your answers. If you had 10s across the board, how would that feel? And what would become possible? Take a minute to reflect. How would that feel? And what would that make possible? And I want you to put that in the chat or unmute yourself and just shout it out. It doesn't have to be an essay. What would be made possible? You had 10s across the board. And how would it feel? It would just be reaching the summit. What a great way to express that, Penny. I'm a writer. I would feel confident and secure, and I would be able to help so many more women transform their lives. Now, a lot of times we think that the business, the strategy, the tactics, and everything is like divorced from the impact. And the fact is that one doesn't really live without the other if you want a profitable business. So work together. Feeling exhilarating. Yep. And just because I kind of go to the business operations thing, it also means that you'll be making enough income to start to hand off and delegate some of these things. If that's something you ever want to do, you could actually, when you get everything working effectively, get some of those things off the plate. All right, so what you're going to want to do with this is we're going to want to figure out how to transform the learning into actual change. So to do that, we're going to talk about creating lasting impact. That's what I want you to think about, creating lasting impact. 2 steps to this, 2 stages. The first thing is I'm going to give you a minute right now to think about what is a bite-sized action you can take that will make a difference. Looking back at your notes, looking back at your assessment, which areas need your attention? Where are your opportunities that you identified in that first exercise? What is a bite-sized action you can take that will make a difference? Once you have your bite-sized action identified, it brings us to the second piece. If you didn't have 10s across the board yet, are you feeling like you're spinning your wheels right now? Are you feeling stressed out, kind of worrying where your next client is coming from? Well, if so, then step 2 is what is your plan to get everything to a 10 so that 1 year from now, you're not stressed out and worrying about the exact same thing. What is your plan? Now, I don't want you to have that stress. I know you don't want to have that stress. So if you don't have a clear plan at this point, then I'm happy to get on a breakthrough call with you and talk it through. We'll just work through your current plan, talk it through, and find out where are the holes, where are the blind spots you might be missing. And then we'll explore some solutions to help you reach your goals faster and with less stress. And this call is a perfect option for you if you have hit that wall in your business. You're feeling stuck, maybe a little frustrated, and can't quite figure out why it's not working. So if that sounds like you, the good news is that this is a complimentary call. But before I give you my calendar link, I do want to let you know about 2 criteria I have for the call. The first is you've got to be open to receiving straightforward feedback. I don't really know how to sugarcoat it while I am never unkind. And the second thing is willing to consider investing in yourself if we both see that working together further will give you that ends across the board and keep you on track so you're enrolling new clients consistently. Is that reasonable? All right. Here's the link, breakthroughcall.biz. Put it in the chat as well. I'll give you a second. Actually, I'm not going to put it in the chat. I can't reach my keyboard. Carol, would you mind very much putting that in the chat, breakthroughcall.biz, please, so that people can click on the link. There's also a QR code there. And here's the thing, it's just my calendar link. You put it done, and we'll have that conversation. And you're thinking, wow, that sounds like a great idea. It's exactly the conversation I've been looking to have. It's the right time. You're jotting it down to get around to it later. This is another opportunity to do your homework in class. I highly recommend get your date now, and let's have that conversation to change things for you. See what that plan of action is. So I'm going to wrap up here with story. I mentioned several times that before I was doing this business, I had another business. It was killing my soul. And so about 12 years ago, it was November 10th, 2010. And I was very unhappy, very unhappy. I was dragging around. I was in a business where I was undervaluing myself. I was settling on every front, but kind of tracked. The business was paying the bills. And I had no idea what to do next. One day I went to November 10th, 2010, I went to a presentation, and right in the middle of the presentation, the speaker said a sentence that made me sit bolt upright. And in my mind, I quit my business. Over the next several weeks, I started to phase out my clients. And I just said, it doesn't matter. I don't know what to do next. Just cannot tolerate this 1 minute longer. Here's what he said. A major source of unhappiness in the world is people settling for what is passable instead of reaching for what is possible. My aim every time I present is that I've not only maybe stretched your idea of what is possible for you, but equipped you with actual tools and insights and perspectives that will make those possibilities your reality just a little bit sooner. And I thank you for letting me serve you today. We have 2 minutes for last comment or question.
I just wanted to say this was super helpful, like very tangible, like specific action items that could be taken. So it just offered a lot of clarity in many areas. So thank you. I really appreciate that.
Oh, thanks for saying so, Angela. I've been to way too many presentations where I'm all excited afterwards. I'm like, they literally taught me.
What do I do? Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm always looking for coach groups to speak for, because this is you are who I work with. You are who this works best for. And I think it's just because of that alignment of impact and values and those for so long. Let's see, I saw something like that. Okay, someone asked, do you have ideas on where to spend time on networking? The thing you want to look at to drive where you go for networking is who is your ideal client and where are they showing up? So the answer for me is ICF. The answer for you may be National Association of Women Business Owners. It may be Elevate. It may be Teeth. I mean, it just really depends on who your ideal client is or who your centers of influence are. So centers of influence are people who cross paths with your ideal clients on a regular basis, offer a different service than you. You can partner with, pass referrals back and forth. Oh, I appreciate people are offering referrals in the chat. That's so nice. Thank you. Let's see. Nice words, fabulous. Thank you. I always appreciate the recognition. Earl, I'm going to pass it back to you if there are no other questions or comments.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I want to make sure anything else, because I don't want to end.
Yeah, I don't want to cut people off.
I think we're doing good here. So Mary, thank you again. I know this is great. You know, I know I remember you with such fondness when, again, you were with us a couple of years ago, and I'm so glad that you were able to squeeze us in last minute here. In fact, Mary has another presentation, an in-person one, I think, in just about 30 minutes from now. So, yeah, I'm so grateful.
Yeah, anybody in the Bay Area, if you're near Morgan Hill and want to go to Republic Bank or something, I'm gonna be there. See ya. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, so I know that Mary does need to leave in just a couple minutes here, but thank you again. And I did want to share with all of you, of course, we meet on the first Tuesday of the month for these sessions. We actually, because we've had some other speakers, we've added now a third Tuesday of the month, but we also have other events on the second and fourth Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. We have a program called Coaches Supporting Coaches, which is a chance for coaches to engage with each other. And next week's topic on June 13th is how do you deal with draining clients? So I just want to mention that particular topic next Tuesday. Next Thursday, June 15th, is our chapter meeting down at Industrious in Irvine. And Paul Sandbar is our presenter on using Lego serious play. So it's going to be a time of engaging with using Lego. And by the way, if anyone's interested in being a client that night, he's going to actually coach us, one of our members. You can send an email to icforangecounty@gmail.com expressing an interest in that. I'm going to put in the chat room that email address, as well as our website for other events coming up. We also have a couple events this summer on ChatGPT, which of course is a real big timely topic right now. We have one coming up in June and also in July 18th, two different views of that ChatGPT and do presentations on that. Lots of other things coming up. It's in the on the website at icforangecounty.org, which is in your chat there. And I think that's pretty much it. Unless anyone has any more questions or anything, you can always feel free to reach out to Mary. She has her email address there, or to me. You can reach me at that email address there for ICF Orange County. And it's good to see all of you again this day. And I wish you all the best of success in your coaching businesses. And again, reach out to Mary if you have any questions. I know she's a great resource. And again, thank you, my friend, for being with us. Enjoy your cat and your love of otters and your roller coasters, and blessings this afternoon as you bring a message of success to people there in the Bay Area.
Great.
All right.
Thank you, Daryl. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you. Have a great day.
Bye, y'all.